It's the United States of Europe. Yes, the first ever live edition with Tinkebell, our special guest, and me, your host, Greg Shapiro. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm Greg Shapiro, and as we do every week, giving the EU the respect they deserve by making fun of them just like everybody else. That's right. I'm seated, and I'm wearing my coat buttoned because I don't have a desk. If you like what you see, then let us know you're out there. Subscribe on YouTube, but also do share the link if you would. And you can always use the hashtag GSUSE. Lets us know you're out there, and well, we will share it once you've shared it as well. This week, our guest is the controversial, inspirational artist Tinkebell with her new documentary DIY. Part 1. I am intrigued, and I'd like to know more. We'll have her on in just a minute. We also have special commentary from our wonderful correspondent, Edo Berger. And before we get to that, let's check in with the news. This week, European Central Bank Chairman Mario Draghi warned that the lowered euro currency and the rise of the U.S. dollar could form a threat to continental European security. Specifically, he warned of hordes of low-budget American tourists who are on their way. They don't know how to behave, they don't know how to dress, and they certainly don't know how to ride bicycles. Please be careful. This week, Greek and German leaders appeared together to reassure the European Union that they are committed to a solution and they are speaking as one voice. But it's not clear if either of them can tell what the voice is saying exactly. What? Angela Merkel seemed to suggest that Tsipras should just use his good ear. Tsipras responded, "I can't hear anything." Merkel and Tsipras did succeed in urging their compatriots to avoid the recent rise in nationalistic stereotypes and the rise in sensationalistic reporting. Greek and German media responded by giving a pitch for a new reality show called Alex and Angela, with the richest EU leader locked in a house with the poorest EU leader until the budget crisis is solved. Yeah, but who's the mole? Okay. In the wake of the Germanwings crash, European air safety agencies have introduced new rules to ensure that mentally unstable individuals are never allowed to take control of an aircraft. In even worse news, the BBC has admitted that Jeremy Clarkson now wants to be a pilot. And coming up, after a growing amount of pop-up social media events, Swedish retailer IKEA has put a ban on games of hide-and-seek in its stores and showrooms. But IKEA promised to keep the time-honored tradition of taking that one thing that you actually need and then moving it so that it takes you at least 2 hours to get out of the store. IKEA also introduced a new rainbow-colored pillowcase that is apparently called the Putin. Russia's trade war with Sweden starts next week. And the joke is on Sweden because actually IKEA is based in the Netherlands for tax reasons. Dutch people reacted by saying that, yes, IKEA should be punished, not for using their country to pay little or no tax, but for abusing horses and making them into meatballs. The Dutch made the statement while making horses jump over things for no reason and prance like drunken ballerinas. Meanwhile, France's far-right nationalist party and Marine Le Pen are facing an investigation for financial irregularities from European Fraud Fighting Office, the fraud fighting office known as OLAF. Olaf was quoted as saying, "Do you want to build a snowman?" Or in the case of Marine Le Pen, "Do you want to build a slush fund?" The remains of British monarch Richard III were given an official burial in Leicester in the United Kingdom last week in a fitting tribute to the maligned British leader. The event was attended by members of the current British government, the British royal family, and Frank Underwood from House of Cards. Come to think of it, that photo reminds me of someone. Ooh, that says a lot. He's after power. While Ireland remains in an economic crisis similar to that of Greece, the Irish people have been less eager to protest their situation. until now. The Irish government is facing massive protests after now making the country pay a water fee for drinking, cooking, and bathing. The EU has called for a common sense compromise, such as drinking, cooking, and bathing in Guinness, which might actually be a win-win for everyone. According to a new study in the Journal of Sexual Medicine, sleep health for women can lead to a better sex life. This finding gives new hope to everyone who's ever had a woman fall asleep on them during sex. The research was conducted by a small group of male graduate students in Michigan who recruited 171 female college students for their study. So you can take the results with a grain of salt, or as they recommend, a little hit of GHB. It's now time to check in with the good news, bad news for this week. And the topic this week, those slippery, slime-filled bankers and politicians. Every time you try to pin them down, they weasel their way out of trouble. Case in point, the Robin Hood tax. The bad news, a proposed Robin Hood tax on financial trading was struck down by banks before the financial crisis. But the good news, after the crisis, the UK introduced a tax on banks to help offset the damage to the financial system, sort of like a Robin Hood tax. The bad news, the UK promised that once the economy improved, the tax would be scrapped. The good news, that tax ain't going anywhere. No, according to George Osborne, I think the tax is here to stay. And despite the bank's threats to relocate to foreign tax havens, most British banks, they aren't going anywhere either. So just when you want to hate those conservative, bank-loving crooks, Robin Hood lives. But another case in point, more bad news. Lux leaks and crooked tax deals. The EU's new Commission President, Jean-Claude Juncker, is the architect of Luxembourg's tax haven deals with multinational companies like Apple, Amazon, Fiat. The good news, now the European Commission itself is under pressure to provide more tax transparency. And the EU Commission is now proposing new legislation that all 28 European countries, or EU countries, will have to report their taxation policies starting next year in 2016. The bad news, resistance from EU countries. According to France's Pierre Moscovici, of course we all want to stay attractive. The good news, Moscovici is plenty attractive, but is he transparent about it? Maybe, if you offer tax breaks, you should also have to reveal if your country's leader has or has not ever had Botox. If you've had Botox, if you've never had Botox, or if maybe you've had a little work done. The bad news, we clearly need better terminology. Ireland has the double Irish. The Netherlands has the Dutch sandwich. Sometimes you combine the double Irish with the Dutch sandwich. Luxembourg has the Luxembourg something. Yes, they're so boring they don't even have a special term for their tax bracket. The good news is we can vote right now. We need terminology that will stick. What should we call the tax breaks that Jean-Claude Juncker wrote when he was finance minister and prime minister of Luxembourg? Should we call it the lavish Lux? Should we call it the Lux interior? Or is there a way to target the man as well as the country? A way to make sure that the bankers and the politicians can no longer dodge the issue? I think if we want both, then we have only one choice. Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce the Lux Luthor. And stay tuned. This week, our guest is Tinkebell with her new documentary, Do It Yourself. But first, let's check in with European commentary from our European comedian and correspondent, Edo Berger. Edo Berger is here. Hey, Edo.
Right.
Now all on good.
Citizens of Europe, the list is in. You've heard this, of course. Yesterday evening, the Greek have submitted their list with ideas on where they are going to find money so that they don't have to do any more budget cuts. So they have to be very creative because basically they have to find pockets of money in a country that is basically bankrupt. And they've gone really creative. One of the measures is that they want to hook up electronically all the cash registries in shops and in bars directly to the tax department.
Okay.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's technologically possible these days. Yay for science. Yay. Science. Oh, well, you're American. Gay communism. Yay. That's how you would call that, perhaps. But I won't go into the numbers, but the amount of money that they have to find with all these small measures, it's tough. It's basically the economic equivalent of trying to pay a hooker with the coins you find in the seams of your sofa. That, yes. And if you are trying to pay a hooker while sitting on your sofa, your coins will be sticky. That's definitely true. But that's peanuts. The big chunk of money is, of course, in Switzerland. Yes, yeah. Of course. There is apparently, hold on to your seats, 200 billion euros of Greek money in Switzerland. 200. And the whole problem could be solved if Switzerland would just give a small portion of that money to Greece. Are they going to? No, because they're Switzerland. No, that's the whole point. The whole country is based on hidden stash. There's so much money hidden in Switzerland. Their flag should be an old sock beneath a mattress. Basically, it's the only banana republic without bananas. It's the cuckoo clock clan, basically. But I was very happy with myself when I thought of that one. But the big measure that they could take is one of my own invention. I've got a few creative ideas because I am a master's degree holder in European studies. Yay! You are far more enthusiastic than my parents. Yes, I am. It took me 7 years. 7 years. I studied here in Amsterdam. Luckily, it's not that hard, European studies here in Amsterdam. It's basically like being horny at a boonga boonga party. So I've got a few creative ideas for Greece. I think that they could get rid of their complete debt that they have to all of us, all of the European countries, right, by giving away a few islands.
It has been suggested.
It has been suggested. I mean, they've got a shitload of islands. They won't miss a few. If you just give one island to each European country, we won't talk about it anymore. And I think that what we could do is, in every European country, all the people who bitch about their country having to leave the EU, they can go to that island and be sort of like a little autonomous area. And they can have their own ideal version of their country there. Okay. So the British could get an island where Jeremy Clarkson could be president now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he is looking for. He needs a job right now. Otherwise, soon he will be for the first time himself the celebrity driving a reasonably priced car. And they could bitch all day about not ruling India anymore. So that could be the British island. There could be a French island with the French just complaining about the noise coming from the British island. Are any other European nationalities in the house? For instance, where are you from? Serbia. Well, I think we would all feel a lot safer if most Serbians were on an island. That definitely. Just do what you do there, but do it quietly. For the Dutch, I think that all the EU haters in the Netherlands could go there, could get the ideal Dutch island going. Okay. I think daily celebrations of Queen's Day. Okay. Of course, Queen's Day, when everybody can sell their broken stuff, and the Greeks got lots of broken plates, so that'll be fine for them. Maybe we could have St. Nicholas every day there. We could paint some Greeks black, and we could have them like sirtaki over the rooftops. And the little tip: don't give them those little golden chocolate coins because you'll never get those back. And then I think every day a combination of gay pride. Gay pride and a celebration of the Dutch national soccer team. Okay. Yes, because that's a really good combination. It's very practical. All you need is one boat on the canals and lots of banners saying, "We are standing behind our boys." So those are my suggestions back to you. Thank you, citizens of Europe.
Berger. Thank you, sir. As promised, our special guest this week is Tinkebell, the artist and now filmmaker. Please, everyone, give a special welcome for the United States of Europe guest, Tinkebell. Yes? Hi, darling.
Hi.
Okay, good. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Yeah, okay. How you doing?
Fine.
Nice.
A bit tired, but I'm okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's been busy for you lately. Because you
It
just
is.
premiered your new documentary, DIY Part 1,
Yes.
in Amsterdam last Friday. Yeah.
Like 2 days ago, yeah.
It feels like you've been kind of nonstop, huh?
It does, yeah.
How was it, the premiere?
I was sleeping all the time. No, it was really fun.
Yeah. And,
I was really happy and it was really fun, yeah.
Okay. I will get into some more questions about the projects you're working on and people who might know you or think they know you. First of all, for people who don't know you at all, this is Tinkebell, and we are going to ask you 6 questions in 60 seconds.
Okay.
The first
Do I have to answer them?
just the first answer off the top of your head is exactly the right answer, and then we'll move on.
Okay.
60 seconds are starting now. Okay. Where did you grow up?
Goes.
In Goes?
Yes.
That's in Zeeland.
That's in Zeeland.
Okay,
Oh, no.
in the southwest of...
Yeah.
Okay. When you were growing up, who was your favorite cartoon character?
Snoopy.
Snoopy.
Yeah.
Got it, from the Peanuts. Favorite World Cup team?
I don't like sports.
I thought that might be the answer. Okay. Anyone who inspired you as a child?
I don't know.
Oh, really?
I wasn't really... Maybe Brandon from Beverly Hills 90210.
Thank you. Thank
Really
you, Brandon.
sexy.
That's it. The faster you go, the
Yeah.
less expected answers you get. What'd you have for breakfast this morning?
I just told you and I forgot. It was bread with fish and stuff.
Bread with fish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So pescatarian?
Pescatarian, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're allowed to eat fish. And what book are you reading right now?
It's a new translation of Voltaire.
Okay. Oh, wow. See, she's a bright one. And that's 60 seconds. Excellent. Right, what did you think of Edo Berger with calling Switzerland the Cuckoo Clock Clan?
It was funny.
Okay, yes. Now, with the latest film, your first, filmmaking experience, that had you going...
Oh, it actually wasn't. It
Or
was
not?
Like
Oh, no, of course, I'm sorry.
The 6th or the 7th or something like that.
I'm sorry, the first one that had you in Afghanistan. That's my question.
Yeah, that was the first one.
What was it like going to Afghanistan? What did it feel like when you were like flying in?
A bit weird because everyone told me that it was like super, super, super dangerous, but I felt really safe.
Yeah.
So
You flew into
I was
Kabul?
like, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, maybe I'm just weird that I feel safe in this really dangerous place. And last week this girl was set on fire on a bridge, and actually I walked there 1 month ago, and I was like, it's okay here.
Wow. Well, now let's go back in time, if that's okay.
Yeah.
And again, for people who may have heard of you, I think you're best known for your first sort of work, of the handbag. And, well, let's see, what do we call it? What to Do with Your Cat is the name of the piece?
My dearest cat, Pinkeltje.
Yeah. And can you give us some background? How did you get started with that?
Oh, well, my cat was like really, really depressed. And she couldn't be left alone at home. And so I broke her neck and I made her into a purse.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
And is that the artwork that's talking, or is that? There's more to the story, though, isn't there?
Well, it was like 12 years ago or so. It was not the first thing I did, but the first thing that was. It went like all over the world. I was on art school at that time, and I was researching a bit about we have a culture in which we don't do anything ourselves anymore. So we don't know where our food comes from, our clothes, or whatever.
No one has slaughtered a chicken here.
No, and we don't even know how.
Right.
Meanwhile, there was a discussion about when you go to a vet with your pet when it's really sick, and they give your pet an injection so it dies.
Yeah.
Well, there were discussions about this injection, about how painless this is. And I was like, okay, so it's not painless. Maybe.
Right.
We never know.
No.
And I know that when you break the neck really fast, that it's painless.
Right.
I was like, okay, then I should do that.
Yeah. But on your website, you also note that your job as an artist is to put your finger on the points of hypocrisy in our society.
Well, I think it's like really, really normal to wear leather shoes or bags or coats or whatever.
Yeah, perception and and reality play a role in your work. So I don't know, how did that all lead you to your latest project, Do It Yourself, and is that also true for DIY Part 1?
On January the 3rd, I got an email from Occupy. They have an email group, and it was an email about an Afghanistan man, and they planned to deport him. He was in the Netherlands.
An Afghani citizen who was in the Netherlands?
For 18 years already, with his family, and his wife and his children are all Dutch. And, his daughter was like really, really like, oh my God, where's my dad? So she decided to went after him and go look for him in Kabul.
Yeah.
But she's only 23 years old. I was like, oh no, she cannot go on her own.
Right.
So I started to call all kind of news broadcasting agencies and newspapers. Like, you really have to send someone to, I don't know, follow her and to write about her and to film her and stuff like that. Yeah. But no one wanted to put money on that.
Yeah.
So I decided to go myself. But one day before I left to Afghanistan, he was found in a hospital because he was beaten up by the Dutch government in the plane while deporting him.
I'm sorry, what?
And not only beaten up, they broke his knee and they put a bag on his head and tape on his mouth, which is illegal. But they did it.
His story was proven?
Well, no, it's not proven yet because the Dutch government says, no, we didn't do that. But I believe him. But I made a film. Actually, I'm making 3 films. That's why it's the Part 1 version.
So what is DIY Parts 2 and 3?
Well, Part 1 is the raw version. Yeah. It's a long film. Like, it's 3 hours. Yeah. And it's actually kind of boring for a big part.
Well, that will be the soundbite they're going to use now.
But it shows the whole story. So it's not manipulated, and you can see that it's not, because we didn't cut anything.
Mm-hmm. Does DIY mean I have to edit it myself? Is that
no,
what okay.
No. It shows how I made the news.
Okay. But is that's just Part 1 or Part 2 and 3?
Part 2 is the uncut version.
Yeah, okay.
It's over a week.
Okay.
It's for sale.
Okay.
3 is the final cut, which it's going to be a nice movie, and it's going to be finished in 1 year or
Maybe
so.
ready for the International Documentary Festival in Amsterdam. If we want to know more about you, Tinkebell, where can we go?
Tinkebell.com.
Tinkebell.com. Thank you very much for joining us, and good luck with your Parts 2 and 3. Thank you, Tinkebell. That's it for the United States of Europe this week. Thank you, Tinkebell. Thank you, Edo Berger. Thank you to Jeremy, and thank you, everybody, for watching. If you would like to see more live tapings, then we might just have to do it at Boom Chicago. So thank you to Boom Chicago, Flipperland until the 17th of May, and thank you to Comedy Cafe. I'm Greg Shapiro. Dewey, bye-bye.